Another day in the MLB here, main slate video. The work begins as it always does here on the Splash Play channel. We're to dig in and compare my projections with the industry leaders today, our friends over at Stokastic. We see the top hitters on our day is guys like Andy Pages and my data. Oh boy, we're going to find out. Top pitchers, Parker Messick's on the thumbnail. Going to talk about him. Going to dig into all that. We'll also take a look at the top stacks, see which ones have the highest ROIs right now, which ones look good. Again, for today's main slate, we'll hop over to Stokastic after we do the home run model, my top pick 'em bets. We'll check out their data, see what the top ROI lineups are. I'll do a hand build. But in this video, guys, going to know all the industry's must plays along my splash plays for today, August 19th, 2026. Let's get into it here. And real fast, I did see this chat from our guy Jake, and honestly, I need to promote here because I'm going to launch the consumer version of the portfolio product that I've had on the site as an admin-only tool for a while now this week. And it was a nice finish in the four-seamer, but again, the exact same version of the tool you're going to be getting later this week. I did have a top 10 finish in the mini-max, so as you guys know, my journey here on stream this year for MLB has been trying to take down a first place in MLB without really building lineups by hand, just using the tools that I'm creating at splashplaypodcast.com, the sims, the data, the stuff you guys see here on stream every day. But the big one, this is actually, I guess, technically my best MLB finish of the year because I've had a top 5 that earned a little bit more in the main slate. But for the four-seamer, finished second place yesterday. This one, nice little grand, which is very nice to see. Kyle Harrison lineup. We talked about him yesterday being my top guy. Much better than stupid Kevin Gausman, who was terrible, then left the game early. It was a Brewer stack along with Kyle Harrison. Of course, like we always talk about here, the win correlation for a pitcher does help out a little bit. But also, just a low-owned stack with guys like Hamilton, Ortiz, Yelich, obviously a little bit more owned, but still only 1.5%. I'm in that four-seamer. Mitchell, Lara, definitely not your most star-studded Brewers lineup, but it got us to Ohtani, got us to a three-man Dodger stack. And this is stuff I talk about every day, guys, where I got to be real with you. My entire portfolio yesterday was not that good. A lot of the stuff that I was expected to hit didn't hit. So that's something that we always talk about here on stream. It's really important to keep in mind. But then you have a portfolio that does have these low-owned bats, these low-owned stacks. Obviously, you see there a lot of correlation. You have a guy who was a top projected pitcher for me, getting a little more unique at pitcher as well by not playing Gausman in that lineup. That's what MLB is to me. It's about that entire group of things you put together, the entire book you put together of lineups, not just about these individual plays we make. It's about how it all comes together. So whether using my stuff, hopefully, again, out at the end of this week is the goal for the consumer version of the portfolio builder on our new Apex tier at splashplaypodcast.com. But also if you're using stuff like Stokastic too, like it's all in there. It's just a matter of how you put together that entire set of lineups you're playing. And that's the most important part of MLB. But your top plays today, I always start with pitcher. I need to pull up hitter. Top plays today for the main slate. If you want the early slate stuff, it is starting in half an hour, so no evergreen window here on stream. You can check the site. All the data has been updated on the site right before the video. But right now, we're obviously focused on the main slate here to give this YouTube video some evergreen chance at life. But it's Shohei Ohtani up top again. 14 points for me, 13.5 for Stokastic. The big reason that Shohei Ohtani is not coming up like crazy in my data is, well, number one, he's crazy expensive at $7,200. Number two, 27% ownership. So the field on a 9-game slate going to be going like crazy. This guy who is a hitter priced like a pitcher at this point. You have another game in Coors for the Dodgers with 6.8 implied runs again. And yes, I did, in fact, refresh things before the show today, so we won't have the issues I sometimes run into here where I do all the updates on my laptop and then forget to actually refresh the site you're seeing on stream here. But you got a matchup today against a lefty. So Shohei Ohtani still great against the lefty, bringing a 280 ISO, a 146 WRC plus against lefty pitching. But Kyle Freeland, not a lot of power given up to lefties, a 1.8% home run rate, a very low 135 ISO. And Kyle Freeland, I mean, these numbers are all Colorado. Like, he's pitching the vast majority of his games in Colorado, has been in other teams. He's just there festering away as a pitcher, but avoiding power against lefties. 1.2 whip, under a 2% home run rate. And obviously, Shohei Ohtani is not your average lefty here. You see the splits, massive power against a lefty pitcher. That doesn't happen very often for lefty bats. But the righty matchups generally, if for guys like Andy Pages expect to hit in the 2-hole, even Tommy Edman, I mean, you go down the order here, righty's going to look a little bit better because Freeland's given up a 1.5 whip to righties, a 4.3% home run rate. You're talking about more than double the home runs, about 0.3 more walks and hits per innings pitched, and then a 230 ISO against righties as opposed to a 135 ISO against lefties. So am I going to ever critique you playing Ohtani? No, I played him yesterday, though I will say guys like Jake Bauers, like their other first baseman I could have gone to. I mean, even Freddie Freeman yesterday had more points than Ohtani. But Ohtani can put up that 40-point game like he did, 2 days ago. He's in Coors again. It can happen. But I do think the lefty-lefty splits, for the starting pitcher matchup, not as good as they could be. So Ohtani right now only making 12.4% of my winning lineups. Fields at 27. Certainly for Ohtani, though, if he makes a quarter of your lineups, 30%. As the top projected hitter on the slate, that's an acceptable exposure number because that's just what we talk about, the overall portfolio working together. You want to have your SP1, you'll be about 55% owned is my number, but 50 to 60 seems about right. Hitter, you want to have your top 5 hitters be eligible, I think, to get to like 25 to 30%. If not, 33, I think is about right. That's what the overall structure to me looks like across an entire set of lineups. Andy, and I talk about this stuff too, because I know some of you guys leave a comment afterwards. You're like, wow, I never thought of it like that. So I do over-explain this stuff to you guys here. I hope it's not annoying for you guys to watch every day. Freddie Freeman, Andy Pages coming up right after Ohtani, but Pages at 5,700 at number 2. 13.5 in my data, 11.2 for Stokastic. Still pretty highly projected by Stokastic standards, where they're certainly not clamoring to play Andy Pages normally. But 16% owned. I've got him at 19% across my 100,000 fully contest-sized sims that you get at splashplaypodcast.com. Why is Pages coming up here? Same stuff we just talked about with Kyle Freeland, the fact that he is so much worse against righties and lefties. And for Pages, you are talking about a very good 208 ISO, 138 WRC plus, a nice little 4% stolen base rate as well against the lefty. So you have the power. You have some stolen base upside as well. And like I mentioned, Mookie Betts, Tommy Edman will be hitting righty today. Hernandez's, both of them, Teoscar and Enrique/Kike. Alex Call, all these guys get a good matchup against Freeland because he is a much better pitcher against lefties than righties. Definitely a bigger sample size against righties, though, as well, with 950 batters facing from the right side of the plate as opposed to 290 from the left side. But Pages is a righty. He's your number 2 hole guy. Expected to hit there today. He looks good. Freddie Freeman gets a lefty matchup today. Looks a little bit less good. Certainly not as good of a lefty hitter as Shohei Ohtani is. But still 11.4 projection for me today with the Dodgers having that high 6.8 run total. And today the Dodgers total at 6.8. I mean, you're talking 1.8 higher than your number 2 team, the Yankees, with 5 implied runs. Then you have Colorado at 4.9. Then a big drop off to Houston and KC at 4.8. So 2 runs less than the Dodgers. So really, I could critique these guys, especially the lefties in this matchup against Freeland. But in reality, that total's so high. Ohtani, play him. Freeman, play him. Pages, though, I think is really the one you want to play. And then at number 4 here, we got Mickey Moniak. Moniak here at 5,300, 11.2 projection for me, 8.4 for Stokastic. Gets him in 12% of my lineups, and they're only at 7. Why is Mickey Moniak coming in today, besides the fact that he is one of the higher totals on today's slate, or team with one of the higher totals on today's slate in Colorado? He is bringing a 285 ISO and a 121 WRC plus against Roki Sasaki, a guy that a couple of weeks ago I made the joke, called him Roki so sucky, and then he started to peel off good games, multiples in a row. That said, the underlying numbers last year and a half, last 2 seasons really is basically what my sample size is, 2025 to now. A 1.3 whip, 4.4% home run rate. You were getting park shifted to an 86-degree weather day in Coors with, decent humidity at 30%. Wind blowing crossfield doesn't really help or hurt. But Sasaki, 190 ISO to lefties, 254 ISO to righties, and Moniak hitting from the left side of the plate, again, bringing a 285 ISO, 121 WRC plus, 6.1% home run rate. Only Zach Veen is better on the team in terms of the power he generates. And that's a very small sample size for Zach Veen. So for how it looks today for Moniak, I think that's a pretty good matchup for him. And Sasaki has been bad. That said, Sasaki is missing bats a little bit better, does have a decent chase rate at 33%. So we've seen the upside. We always talk about the chase rate, swing strike rate being sort of a signifier of the volatility of pitcher, where if they're not getting the results here, he's got a 22% K rate. That's under league average. League average is 23 and change. The fact that he does get bats to miss at a decent clip, 33% or better, gets swing strike rate at 13%. He's getting them to miss enough in the underlying stuff that if Colorado plays poorly today, with 5 guys that strike at above league average, maybe it doesn't go well. But Moniak looks good, I think, no matter what. The run creation's not awesome, but the power for him is, elite on the slate. The number 5, it's Junior Caminero. Very expensive for him as well. It's 6,500, 10.5 projection on my data, about a 9 projection from Stokastic. Gets an 8% of my lineups on this 9-game main slate. Fields at 6. And also worth noting today, DraftKings main slate today is 6:35. FanDuel, same thing here. So if you're planning a 7 o'clock start time today, make sure you are emotionally ready to get that shit in early. But Junior Caminero here, face a guy we always talk about worth targeting, Max Scherzer. Scherzer getting shifted to Tampa Bay, where it is a negative 1% park factor overall, but still a 14% home run boost. And Scherzer, like a lot of pitchers who used to be great strikeout guys, they still attack the zone at a decent clip. Now they struggle with giving up power. Scherzer, a 5.7% home run rate over the last 2 seasons, and that's 540 batters faced. So very good sample size, him struggling with power. 190 ISO to righties, 270 ISO to lefties. So Caminero hitting from the right side of the plate, not getting the ideal matchup, but he brings a 280 ISO, a 141 WRC plus, just a very qualified hitter against Scherzer, who, stinks mostly. Against righties, a little bit less, of a death knell. A 1.15 whip is actually pretty good. 27% K rate against righties, also pretty good. But Caminero is good. So, if you want to play the worst lefties against Scherzer, given the fact they've got the better matchup, like Simpson has much less pop. Aranda, comparable pop. Picks is fine. These guys are okay. I think they're in better situations. But, Caminero, Yandy Diaz, these guys still playable because Scherzer's not, that good anymore. But again, the upside here, 34% chase rate. Like, for a day, he can be good. Just overall, he has not been good, is Max Scherzer. So that makes Caminero look a lot better as our number 5 overall projected hitter. FanDuel, your top 5 hitters for the main slate. You got Shohei Ohtani, number 1. Makes my winning lineups there 26% of the time. Fields at 33. Andy Pages still number 2 for me on FanDuel. Makes 23% of my lineups. Of course, the winning ones, 100,000 contest sims on FanDuel. Fields at 20%. Mickey Moniak makes 17% of my winning lineups. The Fields at 8. Freddie Freeman, 17% of my winning lineups. The Fields at 14. And then Junior Caminero, 21% for me. Fields at 10. So a little bit of a change of order here with Moniak and Freeman. But everybody else here, pretty much the same top 5 on both sides for the main slate. We're going to talk about our top pitchers next, guys. Before we do, though, if you can, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. These days where there is an early slate and a main slate is what really jacks up the YouTube algorithm, and I really do appreciate all of you guys been watching lately, smashing that like button. Obviously, I think I've given out some good takes to justify it as well. You guys are helping get the YouTube algorithm back on track after just cut my impressions for no fucking reason. Click-through rate's been so high, and then the impressions were nothing. So please keep smashing the like button. Please keep subscribing. Leave a comment if you watch after the fact as well, because really, I think the early slate, main slate stuff in MLB is just like fucking death for me on here. And of course, guys, the biggest thing to support if you want to see these videos go on forever, splashplaypodcast.com/join. Again, I've been as candid as I can be for really like a month now. I'm increasing prices. In fact, the goal is to increase them on Friday to get things up a little bit more for NFL, NBA, MLB. It's all going to be a lot this fall for me. Of course, I'm strapping in, though, for 7 days a week of data, one package for all of you guys, where you get the MLB, you get the NBA, you get the NFL stuff, including my best ball champion simulation product for best ball drafts, underdog, and DraftKings. You get that all in one thing. And I'm going to be adding the Apex here, which is going to be $100 a month, where you get my lineups for the first time, my portfolio builder as well, which I think is going to be the most advanced thing in the space doing this. I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming, but if you want to get the VIP package, get now, because that price tag is going up. I think it's going to be either $54.99 or $59.99 for VIP now. Squirt Squad's going up to $24.99, I believe. So get in now. If you get in your membership now, you are on that price tier forever, because it's going to be new people that basically get charged more. And basically, the goal is kind of protect the EV of the product by doing that. So like you guys that are in, I support you. I keep you in the mix for as long as you want to be a member at the price tag you're on. And if for new people, then we'll protect the EV of the product moving forward, where when I feel like there's been too much success and I don't want new people to come in and get it cheaper than you guys are, or same price like you guys are, I'll increase it, and then we'll kind of do it that way. So that's sort of my approach here, because like the product is working too well. I frankly, to be real about it, I feel like I'm giving away EV that I myself am starting to earn. I mean, you saw I finished top 2 yesterday with a lineup that nobody fucking played. Feel really good about stuff, but it's a community thing still. Like I want you guys to get in good stuff, because it can be better for all of us. That's the hope. But anyway, your top pitchers today. Thumbnail boy, you might not know the face, Parker Messick. I think he's been on a thumbnail once or twice this year. Always pops in my data, though. Today, he's number 1, not by a wide margin. 22.5 points in my data. Stokastic at 18.4. He's a point ahead of Logan Gilbert. 2 points of Drew Rasmussen. To me, these guys all can make my lineups at a comparable rate. I wouldn't be mad at it. But Messick, as the highest owned guy and the highest projected guy, probably makes more than half my lineups on today's main slate. So that's just the way that I build. Messick, 38% sim win rate for me across 100,000 contest sims. Fields at 33. You have 6 guys that strike at above league average going against Messick today. So a nice matchup on paper when you are going against the Giants. And like we talk about here, when do we play the Giants, guys? They're going against a righty. When do we not play the Giants? When they're going against a lefty. Messick, a lefty with a good strikeout rate of 25%. Not great, but good enough. He also does have some decent underlying stuff, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, 33% chase rate, 11% swing strike rate. Doesn't get hit very hard with a 5% barrel ball rate. And this team doesn't hit hard anyway. You've got nobody over a 200 ISO here. Look at their exit velocity, too. A couple decent exit velocities, but that includes their, what they do against righties. Against lefties, these guys just get nothing going. You only have one player over a 100 WRC plus against a lefty pitcher. That's Bryce Eldridge. He's bringing a 191 ISO, 120 WRC plus, which are totally good numbers. They're nothing special here. So Messick has decent strikeout stuff, an ungodly low total. I mean, 3.1 runs going against him is so low. I think Messick is your mega chalk today. We know the Giants, I think, as well as anybody does in the industry. I talk about the Giants almost every day because, like, when they go against a righty, they'll stand out a little bit in my data. When they go against a lefty, it's like, holy shit, this is the worst team in baseball. Today, they are looking like one of the worst teams in baseball. Only one guy creates runs over average. You are in a park downgrade. I mean, well, I guess a lateral move, really. But negative 2% park factors, negative 12% home run for the Giants here. So, probably lateral with their home park. It's a good spot for Messick. I think he's the best play in the slate. Gilbert and Rasmussen aren't that far off projection-wise, but Messick is cheaper. Messick is my guy today. Logan Gilbert at number 2. We've hit on him lately, 21.5 fantasy points. Right now in my data, Stokastic always naturally a little bit lower at 18.4. They have 27% ownership expected for him. I've got him at 28, so not the biggest stand on Logan Gilbert. Really for Logan Gilbert, we talked about it yesterday with Bryce Miller, who did end up getting blown up. For Logan Gilbert, he has kind of the similar issues to Bryce Miller, where more power given up than you'd want, but the underlying stuff, like we've talked about last week in Yankee Stadium, Gilbert just, gets less walks and hits, better strikeout stuff, avoids bats generally more. That generally is going to give him the bigger upside. And frankly, too, after Seattle was embarrassed yesterday, what was it, 22-0 is the final score? Wouldn't shock me if Gilbert has a bounce back day. I mean, we just saw this exact same situation go down last week relatively with, Seattle being in the Yankee Stadium, like we just talked about. So for Milwaukee here going against Gilbert, you do have Jake Bauers, hits a righty pretty well. Everybody else here besides Sarang under a 200 ISO. But 7 guys over 100 WRC plus. That's decent run creation. Obviously, Joey Ortiz, David Hamilton, good days yesterday. You're not normally expecting those from those guys super often. But really, I think for Milwaukee, I mean, it's competent hitting across the board. It is technically, a shift away from Seattle. And, as Bryce Miller showed, you take them away from Seattle and it's just a fucking disaster everywhere else. For Logan Gilbert, probably a similar concept there, even though I do think he's a better pitcher. But still, 28% exposure on a 9-game slate. Pitching is pretty flat today to me in a good way, where you have 5 guys with an 18 or better projection. So if you don't like Logan Gilbert, you can play the other guys. To me, though, he probably makes a third of my lineups. I mean, Messick's going to be the top dog no matter what. But I don't think Gilbert's in a bad spot. Kind of expensive at 10K. Drew Rasmussen at 9,700, making it a number 3 here. Vegas total for him is much lower than Gilbert at 3.2. He's basically in line with Messick at 3.1. Gilbert getting that 3.7 mark you can see right here. But Rasmussen, tough matchup. Only one guy that strikes at above league average going against him today. That said, Rasmussen is making 21% of my winning lineups, while the field is at 13% in Stokastic's data. For Rasmussen here, you're going against Toronto, who doesn't offer up a lot of strikeouts. Aggregate K rate for this projected lineup of 18.4%. So you're talking about 4.5 less than league average. But Rasmussen, 0.95 whip, incredibly low, under league average power with a 2.6% home run rate, very low ISOs to both sides of the plate, 0.1 basically to righties, 0.13 to lefties. I mean, that's good stuff. Strikeout rate of 25%. He's basically in line with where we see Parker Messick, but Messick's got a better matchup. So I think for Rasmussen, much like Gilbert, good stuff going for him. Vegas total, I would say, supports Rasmussen here. Price tag supports Rasmussen as well, I think, at 9,700. The value metric for Gilbert, I guess, a little bit better in my data. But I don't know. I think Messick, to me, still a tier above, and he should be played like mega chalk, whether that works out or not. Gilbert and Rasmussen, though, I think, a tier behind. But still, no issue, really. And the fact that Rasmussen's going to be the lowest owned out of all the top 5 here probably bodes well for him. Chase Burns at number 4. 19.8 points in my data, 17.1 in Stokastic's, gets him in 19% of my winning lineups and basically 19.5. Fields 17%. For Chase Burns today, you got 4 implied runs going against him. You are seeing St. Louis get park shifted to the Great American Small Park / ballpark. And Burns, I mean, great strikeout stuff, 30% K rate, under league average power at a 2.5% home run rate. And it's obviously pitching a majority of his games in Cincinnati too. Your top 4 for the Cardinals looks good. Weatherholt, Herrera, Burleson, Walker, getting shifted to a better park. The Cincinnati flat 0 in park factors the last 2 seasons. That's surprising. Baez has not hit a righty well so far. Has mostly had a success against the lefties. But I think for St. Louis, I mean, look, not an exciting team. Not a team I'm scared of either, but they're also not offering up a ton of Ks. Only 2 guys that strike at above league average, a 21.6% aggregate K rate, and some of that's being pushed pretty heavy by Josh Baez in a very small sample size. So for Chase Burns, I think it's a decent matchup. He does have the really elite chase rate stuff at 37%, swing strike rate at 14.5, so he's getting away from bats a lot. You can definitely see the upper band of strikeouts occur. But, St. Louis is disciplined enough. He's not screaming out to be at 11K. Rather play Messick. I think I'd still rather play Gilbert, even with the ownership being higher. Rather play Rasmussen and less ownership and a better projection and cheaper. So Chase Burns is fine. I'll get some, but yeah, I don't think he's screaming out at 11K by any stretch. Then Cade Cavalli rounding up the top 5 here. 8K salary. Has had some big upside lately because he's a guy that also misses bats pretty well, even though the underlying stuff, the straight strikeout stuff is not awesome for him. But a 15.5% ownership number expected for him by Stokastic, 24% sim win rate for Cade Cavalli. For Cavalli today, you're going against Texas. In Texas, so you are getting the better park factors here. Cavalli's been pitching in one of the hottest parks in baseball in Washington, which had some of the best hitting this year. So going to Texas probably helps him out. Going against Texas here, you have 4 guys that strike at above league average. You can see right here. 6 guys over 100 WRC plus, decent run creation. And your top 4's got pop. I mean, Peterson, Seager, Langford, all over 200 ISO against a righty. Cavalli a 25% K rate, but a 33% chase rate is really... does give you some upside if he does just have a good day here, really. I think it's a boom bust kind of spot. Like Cavalli, I feel like the box score results, the field always plays him a little bit more than I would like to. But he's coming up heavy for me. I mean, the Sims got him 10% higher win rate than his ownership. So today's a day where I do like Cavalli. I just kind of worry that the ownership's a little bit lower than the field likes to play Cavalli because he has had the big days. I think the field thinks he's better than I do. But that's your top pitchers on DraftKings. On FanDuel, you got Messick still number 1 with a 19% sim win rate. Gilbert number 2 at 16. Rasmussen number 3 at 11. Chase Burns at 12. Cavalli at 10. Dustin May at 9 and change. So key thing is always on FanDuel, take your top guy a little bit more. So Messick to me, probably 33% exposure on FanDuel feels about right. I suppose you can go higher, but then flatten it out. It's only a 1-pitcher site. So that's your biggest lever to get unique there, is just playing a different pitcher. And that's how that looks for FanDuel's main slate, guys. But let's go to our top stacks. Again, one more ask if you guys can. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, it does really matter a lot for any content you watch on YouTube. The hype button, too, if you want to hit that. Helps out a bunch. But really, for me here, I'm just one guy doing the work as best I can across the MLB. Tomorrow, I'll be doing an MLB stream. We'll also do an NFL best ball stream on the @SplashPlay pod channel. Again, working really hard behind the scenes to get the consumer portfolio builder up, to get NFL stood up. So that is the best version of the site yet. And I'm also doing this while making my own DFS play better. Like, fucking finish second place or so, guys. I'm giving you everything I can here on streams, myself too. So please show some love back. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll keep doing the work for you guys every day at 12 p.m. Monday to Friday here, of course, for MLB. Make sure to check out Stokastic too. Their Sims, their data, 15% off with any package, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Get it all with the promo code SPLASH. And again, supports the show, supports you as well, getting idiot-proof great DFS lineups. Do recommend, though, really watching exposures there. We'll talk more about that when we run Stokastic Sim later on in the video, but really use my projections with it. Great way to get unique. Great way to also get a little bit smarter about how to approach the exposures. And of course, guys, my site, splashplaypodcast.com. Go there right now. The /join page will get you in the mix immediately. And again, you are locking in your price for. I do raise things in the back half of the week here. Going to be a new tier launching as well, which you can also just upgrade to later on in the week if you want. But getting there right now, VIP for $40 a month, Squirt Squad $20 a month, both of which going up certain percentage points in a couple days. So get in now, lock in your price, and it won't raise on you as long as you stay an active member. All right, top stacks here. Colorado coming up number 1. So a good total today at 4.9 implied runs. Not quite in that upper band, but something we talked about. I mean, for me, Milwaukee, they're coming up, I think, 5th or 6th in my 5-man stacks, 4-man stacks. We obviously cover the top 3 stacks here, but like I talk about every day, just living your life based off sim ROI, I don't think is the best way to approach things, in particular for MLB. So being mindful of the fact that, like Colorado's coming up number 1, but certainly, any team can hit on a given night. And certainly the winners don't always come from your top team. But Colorado here, 9% ROI. I'm giving you all the caveats that I can, guys, because like every day I'm like, fucking Milwaukee's not a team I would have talked about yesterday. I wasn't like David Hamilton, lock him in. But, still it's something where you want to be mindful of like, you want to go into the most EV. You still want to play the most expected, teams succeed and, have success. But you also want to be mindful that you don't only want to play those teams. But Colorado here is number 1. And a small sample size pairing Cavalli and Rasmussen with Sullivan, Norby, Tovar, Moniak, and Veen. I mean, some decent days from Colorado yesterday, if I'm remembering correctly. But Colorado here going against Roki Sasaki. I mean, the big thing is you're getting a park shift at Sasaki. 13% positive park factors in cores the last 2 seasons. Got 128% boost on triples, 11% boost on home runs. Really just massive outlier numbers in Colorado. And Sasaki, does give up high isolated power. Isolated power is not just home runs. It's doubles, it's triples, it's extra base hits as well. So you get killed a million different ways here potentially. It's not a scary lineup going against him. You have Carrig, Moniak, Rumfield, Zach Veen, all these guys hitting righties well above league average in terms of run creation. But McCarthy, Castro, around league average, Norby, Sullivan, not that far off. Tovar is an albatross, but he does seem to get there randomly from time to time. He doesn't even get steals. Tovar is such a fucking burden. Sasaki's bad enough, though. I know he's had good results lately. I'm not necessarily buying it, but certainly for Roki Sasaki here, if he's bad again, or if he just is what he's been in the last 2 years, he might get smashed in cores, and certainly that's what the top stacks here are trying to target. Dodgers, I feel like we spent enough time on, but I'll take a quick look here. But an 8% ROI for them. They seem crazily owned. 92% expected ownership on a 5-man Dodger stack. It's a pretty high number. But Cavalli, May getting paired with Call, Pages, Hernandez, Betts, and Ohtani. So getting a lot of the righties in here, along with Ohtani, who can hit anybody. Why are the Dodgers coming up? Obviously, that gigantic total of 6.8 implied runs. Going against Kyle Freeland, who, like I mentioned earlier, is going to look a lot worse against righties than he does against lefties. A 2% home run rate rounded up as opposed to 4.3% against righties. A 135 ISO to lefties as opposed to a 230 ISO to righties. Pretty egregious splits there. So Pages, Betts, Edman, both Hernandez's, Alex Call should look better than usual. Ohtani, Freeman hit from the left side of the plate, a little bit less good than usual. But Ohtani can still smash a lefty. He's got a 280 ISO, 146 WRC plus against a lefty. Not as good as he is against a righty, but it's still more than good enough compared to 99% of the hitters in baseball. Freddie Freeman, though, is just an average player against a lefty, 153 ISO, 115 WRC plus. Run creation's not bad, but the power's just gone. So for the Dodgers, to me, going back there again, I think you have to. You don't want to go nuts on it. In general, my cap rules for stacks are about 24%. So I'm not going to get more than that of the 4-mans and 5-mans for the Dodgers. But a day yesterday to need Ohtani. He certainly was fine for me in my top lineups from what we saw earlier, but you didn't need him. And going back to Ohtani, not crazy, but the ownership seems really high in the projections for Ohtani. I'm not buying that he necessarily gets the 33%. The Stokastic is giving you like 28. It's a lot of Ohtani coming up, at least in what they're estimating. And Baltimore, your number 3 5-man stack, but you still got a couple positive ROIs here. You can see Tampa Bay, Texas, KC, Cincinnati, all slightly positive ROIs. So I think you're going to want to diversify your stacks today. We got Baltimore coming up with Cavalli and Messick paired with Henderson, Holiday, Taveras, Alonso, and O'Neill. Why are these Baltimore Orioles coming up today? You were going against Will Warren. Has a pretty high whip at 1.4. Home run rate at 3.3% is a little bit above league average, but not crazy. But high isolated power, 180 ISO to righties, 184 to lefties. You are going into Baltimore where the park factor is going to be a little bit more than Yankee Stadium, 3% overall. Home run rate at 14% boost. So all the stuff for Will Warren, not great. Going against a bunch of righties who can hit him decently. Pete Alonso in particular be the one I'd be worried about. But the lefties here look okay. Not crazy about Baltimore. Pete Alonso bringing a 255 ISO, 155 WRC plus against Will Warren here. I mean, when we get Alonso against a righty, that's when the real big outlier upside is there for him. So I think he alone can make a Baltimore stack compelling. Rest of these guys, you have some good lefty-righty matchups on paper, but none of them really smack a righty around. Alonso's the only guy over a 200 ISO in Baltimore's lineup. And that's your top 5-man stacks. My data, 4-man stacks is Baltimore 1, Colorado 2, Texas 3 coming up here. 3-man stacks, Colorado 1, Baltimore 2, Dodgers 3. So pretty similar throughout. If you want to see the best ROI combos, pause your screen on YouTube and you can see them all. FanDuel, your top stacks for the main slate, Baltimore 1, Tampa Bay 2, Colorado 3. Look, we've looked at all these teams enough already. Tampa Bay mostly through the Caminero lens, but we saw them. And then Colorado, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay coming up as well for 3-man stacks. So pretty similar stuff to DraftKings, different teams though. And the A's, Yankees, KC, decent ROIs for a bunch of stacks today. So I think if you're playing the Dodgers, you want to get that, 20, 25%. The Vegas total is certainly high enough to justify that. Everything else, I don't know. Just roll the dice on your other stacks and hope something comes through. Your top win rate players for DraftKings, main slate, of course, early slate. If you wanted that data, you got 5 minutes left until it locks. It's on the site right now. The Parker Messick, 38% sim win rate, Fields at 33. Logan Gilbert, 28% for me, Fields at 27. Cade Cavalli at 24, instead of Drew Rasmussen. Pitcher today, I mean, high win rates for pitcher on DraftKings in a way where I don't think you often see your top 6 win rate guys be pitcher. Andy Pages would be your top position player in my data. Tommy Edman, not that far behind. FanDuel top win rate players in my 100,000 contest sims. Ohtani, number 1, makes 26% of lineups, Fields at 33. Pages, 23% sim win rate, Fields at 20. Edmonds got a ton of positionality on FanDuel. Shortstop, second base, outfield, third base. Makes 21% of lineups for me, and Fields at 19. Caminero not that far behind either. Pretty big stand on Caminero actually on FanDuel. Fields 10%, I've got 21. Home run model here. Griffin Conine coming up at number 1. 41% home run probability, 4 stars of confidence. I mean, Nola against a lefty, Conine against a righty. These are both really heavy splits in terms of power. Caminero at number 2, 36% home run probability, 4 stars of confidence. That's why getting 2x the field on FanDuel, if nothing else. Kyle Schwarber, 33% home run probability here with 5 stars of confidence, going against Sandy Alcantara. Matt Olson, 32% home run probability with 5 stars of confidence, going against Taj Bradley. And Abimelec Ortiz, one of those guys with a small sample here, 31% probability with 2 stars of confidence, barely squeezes ahead of Owen Casey, going against Aaron Nola as well. And you see my data, guys, and it's many DFS applications. Now we have one important one for you guys that like pick'ems. Let's go over to Splash Sports. And really good time right now for you guys. If you want to go sign up at Splash Sports, 50% deposit bonus, 100% quick picks boost. Also, to be real with you guys, I'm currently renegotiating with them for NFL and NBA. So if you want to sign up, make me look better, now's a great time to do it. Use the promo code SPLASHPLAY over there. And the big thing over at Splash Sports, I do give you guys a free tool to use, my bookmarklet, which takes my MLB projections, also my NBA ones. And NFL season will take those too in real time, gives them to you to use for free on the site. You don't have to be a member or anything. Just sign up and use it. But it's down in the description. Use it. And of course, you can go on the site and you'll see it in the very way I'm about to show you guys here on screen. Let me switch the tab. There we go. There's too many things to run at once to get this transitioned over. But you can see right now some of the top bets that I have going, in particular from the early games, the ones that are auto-loaded here. But Caminero coming up with a high EV on his hits, runs, and RBIs line. And that's going to be true on Splash Sports as long as anywhere else. If you're getting the line at 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Brandon Lau, his more on hits, runs, and RBIs looking good. 35% EV there. Matt Olson, O'Neal Cruz. You could also go game by game, rescan them all. That White Sox game that I just sweat out last night because it was in a rain delay when I was hoping I would finish on top of that tournament. But Suzuki looking good, Bregman looking good, Pete Crow Armstrong looking good. A lot of EV to go around. And I'm in Pennsylvania, guys, so I only get hits, runs, and RBI lines. In other states, you're going to get every individual mark you could possibly get. It'll also grade out against my projections in real time. Whatever the most recent run I put on splashplaypodcast.com, that's what it's grading out about. So, or grading out against. Check it out for yourself. Really try to make you guys a tool to get it in good. Whenever I give you guys a sponsor of the channel, it's because I think they're going to add value to your process. Or, give you a way to get in good EV on a tool or a product that's not normally plus EV, like pick'ems are not. On Splash Sports, soft lines plus the peer-to-peer component, where sometimes in a 6-legger, you might only have to win 5 because nobody else is winning 6. You might only have to win 4 because the field's that bad. It happens pretty often over at Splash Sports. So check it out for yourself. If you want to play pick'ems, 50% deposit bonus, 100% quick picks boost. The promo code SPLASHPLAY over at Splash Sports. It's promo code SPLASHPLAY over at Splash Sports. And I also recommend checking out their Survivor stuff for NFL. If I re-sign with them, probably going to do a Survivor pool for us. But also have a $21 million up top one. So that's pretty big money. You guys know, if you got a chance to win $21 million, I think you should take it. You don't have to do it a bunch, but do a lottery ticket for NFL Survivor. Probably not a bad idea. All right, let's build out lineups here for the main slate, guys, on Stokastic. Again, you saw my data. Now let's see what it looks like without my interference on here. Hit that like button while this loads. Subscribe. Goes a long way for any content you enjoy on YouTube, but especially me, just one guy doing the work every day as best I can here. Goes a long way, so please show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe, and do all that. Of course, Stokastic, you'll see their sim running on screen here, but check it out for yourself over at Stokastic with 50% off any package that's weekly, monthly, or yearly over at Stokastic. Get it all for yourself right now. And a really idiot-proof great DFS lineup. So that is a sales pitch I give you guys because you do want to tweak things a little bit off the factory settings, but for the most part, you'll be getting it good every night when you do use Stokastic. And hold on, I'm also just re-updating things one more time. So if anybody wants to late swap stuff for the last 2 lineups that came in, they can. All right. And of course, guys, the most important one here while the sim finishes up, splashplaypodcast.com/join. Go there right now. $40 a month for VIP, $20 a month for the Squirt Squad tier. If you sign up, you stay on that price tag forever. So if I increase things because I feel like it needs to make more, or I want to protect the EV of a product coming up, that's going to not affect you. That's really the key thing here. I want to reward the people that are a part of the thing for a while, that are supporting me all year round, covering all the sports with MLB, NBA, and NFL. So join along at splashplaypodcast.com/join. Prices increasing. Probably Friday, but might be sooner. So stay tuned. I'm trying to get that portfolio builder out for everybody soon because my shit's working. So, why not? All right. Your top ROI lineups right now. Like I always say here, first thing I try to do with Stokastic, make sure you're only playing 5-mans, especially if you've had a tough MLB DFS year. Don't worry about 4-mans. Don't worry about the parlay shit, your 3-man stacks, 2-man stacks. Just play 5-mans. But, get your 5-mans right. They should be about 2/3 of your portfolio because that's the win rate of 5-man stacks across the field. So the other 33% can be 4-mans, some other bullshit you want to put in, but try to get the 5-man stacks right first. But your top 5-man stack is an Dodgers KC one with Matthew Liberatore and Chris Bassett up top. So dumpster diving at pitcher here is Stokastic to get to a Dodgers stack. They're going with Liberatore and Bassett with Sal Perez, Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, Miguel Garcia, Bobby Witt. So 2 star players there with Ohtani and Witt. Andy Pages, Kike Hernandez, and Alex Call. You get a lot of those Dodgers righties, which I do support. Definitely not your most star-studded Dodgers lineup besides Ohtani, but, that's fine. It's what you have to get there. And that's spending basically all the salary, too. KC and Athletics, 5-3 build here with Logan Gilbert and Kumar Rocker. Then Sal Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, Jeff McNeil, Miguel Garcia, Bobby Witt, Jack Caglianone, Lawrence Butler, Carlos Cortez. I feel like every day the KC stacks come up because they are, not a bad run total team, and the price tags allow you to get these guys in there. Never the most exciting stack. They just seem to work every day. KC 5-man stack at number 3 again here. Parker Messick with Matthew Liberatore. I, of course, do like Messick a lot today. Sal Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, Jazz Chisholm, Nick Lofton, Bobby Witt, Andy Pages, Joe Adell, Tyler Tolbert. So they got Pages projecting really well today too, it seems. Reds, Dodgers 5-2 stack at number 4. You have Logan Gilbert and Ethan Pecco. Tyler Stevenson, Michael Toglia, Matt McClain, Eugenio Suarez, Bobby Witt, Shohei Ohtani, Andy Pages, and Dane Myers. Okay. Then a Dodgers 3-man here with Parker Messick, Chris Bassett, Cal Raleigh, Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, Eugenio Suarez, Bobby Witt, Joe Adell, Alex Call, Tyler O'Neill. Joe Adell did hit a home run yesterday. I know one of our guys, OMG, had in the chat. I was really happy to see the projection popping for him because he had a lefty matchup, so he actually plays well. This lineup is just a parlay. I don't know, man. If you're going to play a parlay, don't play DFS, I think. Play an actual parlay. Player ROIs. Like, have a 5-man stack, a 4-man stack underpinning what you do in baseball. Otherwise, you're not doing it, right? In my opinion, you're just gambling at that point. Not that, and it's all gambling anyway, but like 4-man stacks, 5-man stacks, just do that always. Sal Perez, number 1 here in terms of player ROIs on Stokastic. Eugenio Suarez, number 2. Austin Wells, number 3. Alex Call coming up. He is cheap for a guy who is in a high total Dodgers team. That said, one of your less impressive hitters in that line for sure. Him and Ben Rortvedt, assuming he plays today. And Teoscar Hernandez rounds out the top 5 instead of Ethan Pecco coming up as a cheap pitching option for Houston. Your top stack ROIs for Stokastic, a 3-man stack with KC is number 1. Dodgers number 2 for a 3-man, Cincinnati number 3. 4-man stacks, you got Dodgers 1, KC 2, Houston 3. Barely ahead of Baltimore. Then 5-man stacks, Dodgers 1, Cincinnati 2, Houston 3. The Yankees not that far behind, KC not that far behind, Angels not that far behind, Baltimore really not that far behind either. It's a different metric here, and the Dodgers are the only positive ROI 5-man stack. But I feel like when you're in this band here of like a 10% ROI difference, you probably just want to get exposure to all those 5-man stacks to some capacity. Highest exposure players, Shohei Ohtani is a hitter, makes 2/3 of their lineups. I just don't think that's correct. To me, hitters should be capped at like 33 to 35. But they clearly think Ohtani is unfadable today. Parker Messick, 45% exposure, Fields at 31. He should be higher. You flip these two numbers, I'd feel a lot better about it. But Messick, to me, is your clear SP1 today in terms of the value, in terms of the projection. Sal Perez, 41% exposure, Fields at 9. It's a big old stand on Sal Perez. I don't think hitters should come up that high. Teoscar Hernandez, 41% exposure, Fields at 18. Too much Teoscar Hernandez as well. And Andy Pages, top protected guy for me today as well, or one of the top 5. 39% exposure, Fields at 18. Too much Andy Pages, I think. Again, and I like Pages. It's just, to me, this is the biggest thing is like factory settings they give you. Just immediately cap these, top guys. Get your top pitcher lower, get your top hitters a little bit lower, and you'll find some of these stacks that pop up that you actually need to win. They start to come up naturally more when you cut the exposure from what the sim expects to be the most likely outcomes. Your highest leverage players, Shohei Ohtani, 39% leverage on him. Sal Perez, 31% leverage on him. Bobby Witt, 23% leverage on him. Single-digit ownership on Perez and Witt, and they're going nuts on your ownership for them, which I just, it's too big of a stand for me. Hernandez, 22% leverage on him. Ethan Pecco, 22% leverage on him. He's making a lot of lineups. 37% exposure across Stokastic's top 150 for Ethan Pecco, who's coming up a little bit for me. think in particular on FanDuel. Let me see what my win rate is on Pecco. Pecco, where the Pecks go. Yeah, I've got Ethan Pecco at a 9% sim win rate, which is better than anybody else at, 7K or 6K. But Suzuki I'd have around there too. They're just, he's not a good play. I think, and they're treating him like he's a good play. I think that's probably the difference. My projection's only 0.8 lower than theirs as well. Negative leverage plays here. Ben Rice, number 1, Drew Rasmussen. Big fades on these guys. Only 2% exposure for Ben Rice and Drew Rasmussen. Will Warren getting faded pretty heavy. Only 1.3% exposure. He's not really coming up for me in a big way either. Ben Rortvedt, not playing him really. He's cheap for a guy who will be playing catcher in cores for the Dodgers, it seems, assuming Fiducia can't go today after he got sick yesterday and also killed my lineup. And Cole Carrig, 1.3% exposure there, barely getting played as well. I don't know, man. I think you can shave some of the exposure off the Ohtani stuff and go to any of these guys a little bit more. But that's how it looks in Stokastic's data, guys. Of course, the last stage of our journey here is a great handy for you all, a hand-built lineup here based off my data. We're going to look at our top 5-man stack in my data and my top ROI lineup, and we'll see how Stokastic Sim feels about it. Of course, Sim's always going to be predisposed to their own stuff, but the goal here is to get 2 positive ROIs on stuff from my data and hope it goes well. But my top 5-man stack would be that Colorado one, so let's do it. We're paying up at pitcher, which I think Stokastic Sim is not really supporting either. But we got Gilbert and Messick, who they like. With Brett Sullivan at catcher for the Rockies. Unfortunately, not Hunter Goodman, but he'd probably be a lot more expensive. Mickey Moniak makes it with his big splits against a righty pitcher. Rumfield looking good as well. Castro. That's second for now. And Zach Veen makes it too. So 3,200 left for the last 3 spots. We'll have Stokastic complete the lineup here. And they put in Eugenio Suarez, Angel Ginao, or Angel Hinao is probably how you pronounce it with the soft G. And what else did they put in? Alex Call. I think they put in Alex Call here, right? Yeah. All right. Let's send this out. The team here, Gilbert and Messick with Brett Sullivan, TJ Rumfield, Willie Castro, Eugenio Suarez, Angel Hinao, Alex Call, Mickey Moniak, and Zach Veen. Negative 10% ROI, 0.1% win rate, 1.1% top 10, cash rate 26. Just not quite good enough, but to me, it just doesn't matter. As long as it can win, as long as it has a top 10 rate, that's respectable. It's a playable lineup. Top overall ROI for my data would be this one with Messick and Cavalli. So again, my data is not moving away from Messick no matter what, if it can avoid it, which I agree with today. Brett Sullivan makes it again. Kike Hernandez makes it at first base, which is interesting. We're not playing Freeman or Ohtani there. We're taking Tommy Edman here. I think we're just going Dodgers righties for this lineup. Ryan McMahon makes it, probably for the price tag. Mookie Betts makes it. More Dodgers from the right side of the plate. Alex Call makes it. Teoscar Hernandez makes it. And Mickey Moniak rounding it out. Let's see how this grades out. I think this is interesting. It's all Dodgers righties. We're fading your more expensive guys, in particular Ohtani. But it's Messick and Cavalli with Brett Sullivan, Kike Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Ryan McMahon, Mookie Betts, Alex Call, Teoscar Hernandez, and Mickey Moniak. 25% ROI, 0.2% win rate, 32% cash rate. That is a good lineup. I will say what won me yesterday, the day, if you missed the beginning of the video, or, what helped me finish second place in the 4-seamer, which I count as a win. It really was just one of those things where it was getting the lesser run parts of the Milwaukee stack. The Milwaukee stack itself graded out well. So when it gave me the second and third version of that stack, it then gave me the one which had Hamilton in it, that had Joey Ortiz in it, that had Garrett Mitchell in it, whatever I needed to have. I forget what exactly it was. And still had Yelich in it. But that was a key thing in my data that really digging in yesterday in particular highlighted was that one of the flaws in my stacks is getting a lot of the 1 through 3 guys, the 4 through 6 guys, but not really getting, let's say 5 through 9. So I think using this kind of stack in the Dodgers that coming up for me here, it just seems noteworthy because this is kind of the thing that won me yesterday. Obviously, the Milwaukee team, though, much lesser owned than the Dodgers are going to be today. That's how it looks right now in my data. Of course, we are going to give you guys the splash plays of the day one more time. Before I do that, though, one last run through plugs. First of all, hit the like button, subscribe. Goes a long way for any content that you enjoy on YouTube, but especially me. I'm just one guy doing the work here as best I can every day. So please show some love back. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I will keep showing up every day for the MLB at 12 p.m. And soon, guys, soon NBA will be back. Soon NFL will be back as well in the Splash Play Pod channel. You know, I'm here to do that work. Stokastic, 15% off any data, any tools you want over there. It's 15% off any package with the promo code SPLASH. Supports the show, supports you as well, getting idiot-proof great DFS lineups. Really can't encourage you guys enough, though. Don't just take factory settings of it. Tweak stuff a little bit, tweak projections, flatten out exposures. That is the most important part of it. But use their sim. It is still well-built lineups. People constantly finishing up top. Look at the tournaments you're in. It is Stokastic avatars somewhere up there. And that's the case over at Stokastic always. Use my data with it. Use it by itself. You'll do well. That promo code SPLASH. Of course, my site, guys, splashplaypodcast.com. Go there right now. It does support the channel, supports what I'm doing here every day across the MLB, NBA, and NFL. But also, it gets you in the mix there, locks in your price before I raise things in just a couple days as we're heading into NFL season, because I need to make the profits come up a little bit more to justify another 7 days a week of work for all the sports. But I enjoy doing this as long as the money's there and you guys are making it so the money's there and you guys are getting value out of it. I really am so stoked to hear people getting some of the best results they've had, whether it's betting, whether it's just, you know, actual DFS. Guys won 100K, guys won 50K, guys won massive parlays. Shit's working the way it's supposed to. It's only gonna get better, guys, because I am fucking locked in right now. So please join along at splashplaypodcast.com. And last but not least, before we get to our splash plays of the day, use that promo code SPLASHPLAY at Splash Sports, our official pick'em partner here at Splash Play here. 50% deposit bonus, 100% quick picks boost. Get it all for yourself. And of course, the Quick Picks EV tool, it is free. It is linked down in the description. Very easy to use. You see me use it here on stream every day. Get it for yourself over at Splash Sports, promo code SPLASHPLAY. All right. Woo. A little bit easier, though, with one less sponsor. That's obviously a lot of whoring at the end of the video. And I love Snap Sports or Snap Stats. Hope they come back. But, you know, if they don't, less reading for me, less whoring. That's always good. All right, my top stacks today on DraftKings. Colorado, number 1, Dodgers 2, Baltimore 3, but it's still pretty flat here. I could still see playing 5-man stacks with Tampa Bay, KC, Texas, Houston. Have to be honest here. Like, you know, the top ones are the ones you get the most of, but the other ones are the ones that you do want to still mix in. At pitcher on DraftKings, it's Messick. I mean, best combination of value and top protected guy. He should make more than half your lineups, in my opinion. But Gilbert and Cavalli still very playable to me. Guys around a 25 to 30% sim win rate. Rasmussen still playable. Chase Burns still playable. May still playable. I worry that Messick ends up being that mega chalk today, but Fields didn't burn enough on the mega chalk that maybe Messick just doesn't get up that high. And then FanDuel for the main slate, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Colorado, though much like on DraftKings, it's different teams, but really think it's a flat stack day because you only have the one really high total team. Everybody else pretty tightly condensed. But Yankees, A's, KC, Dodgers, I mean, they're all still playable on FanDuel. Pitcher on FanDuel, still Messick number 1, but Gilbert gets closer on FanDuel. Burns, Rasmussen, Cavalli, Dustin May. They're all there for me. The other guys I would just get less of. Like Sasaki down. I don't really want him that much. That's how it looks, guys. Make sure to gamble responsibly, even though it is always money time on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at Splash Play Bets on YouTube. On Twitter, both my handle at Chris Spags and at Splash Play Pod will tell you whenever I go live. You just get the videos on there, and it's going to be the plan, I think, moving forward. So keep your eyes peeled there on Twitter, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for more. Of course, main slate you saw today. Data will be updated here. Early slate. I don't think there's anything else we have to update, but it's in there now too if you want it. If you want to do some late swapping. And back tomorrow with more, guys. So enjoy your days. Good luck. And please, can I win first place? Would it be cool if I could win first place? Like, second's been good. Fifth's been good. 10th's fine. I want first. I get first. We'll see. All right. Bye, guys. I'm going to get fucking Dustin. All right. Bye, guys.